I don't really know why the British Legion was formed, Melis. Can you tell me?
Well, it was formed to enable the ex-servicemen to help them in their disabilities, to apply for a pension, and for those men have been killed, for their widows to apply for help to bring their children up. And it's given to all ex-service people, men and women, when they apply for it.
So that's the foundation of the Red Poppies, is it?
Yes.
Is that where the money comes from?
Yes, from the Poppy Appeal. Yeah.
Can you tell us about the local events you hold here and your fundraising, and do you sort of meet in a group?
We all meet once a month, the last Friday in the month, in the drop-in centre. We start off with a service, give out any news of anything that's coming on, and then we have a speaker. And each month we have a table with a competition, say, the smallest little jug or a fancy plate, fancy apron, anything. And at the end of the year, a little prize is given to the person who has got the most points. We run a raffle each month, and that money goes towards paying our rent.
So how much does Keswick collect when it's the Poppy Appeal?
This year we've raised 7,900, the most that we've ever had. It's been a big effort.
I worked on various jobs until I was 18, and well, I was sent when I was 18 to Workington. I was sent down to Workington when I was 18, wartime, and I was sent down to Siemens Furnaces, which is now Chapel Bank, where they used to make shells for the guns. And then from there I was called up into the Royal Artillery. I was 18 at the time, and I did my training in Newtown, Montgomeryshire, and then I was sent on a course with a view to becoming an NCO, and I did so well on the course that I got 2 stripes and sent out as an instructor or assistant instructor in the Royal Artillery, where I stayed for 2 years. And then I was posted out to India, and I did 2 years out there, part of it in Burma, and then I had 12 months in Japan. We went to Japan on occupation, and I was on the advance party there, and a very exciting 12 months it was, taking swords from the Japanese. Way they nearly went crazy, and we were taking them, going around all the houses, hand out your swords, and I've got one in the corner there, as you can see, and they were going balmy, really went crazy. And then we had bulldozers and dug holes and threw all the swords in and set fire to them, and that was the end of that. And then I came back home, 7 weeks on a boat from Japan to Liverpool, calling at all the stations on the way back, bringing people back to England for demob.
Can you tell us about your interest in bowling, Ronnie?
Yes, my interest in bowling started in 1947 on Fitzpark number 2, which was later called Greeter Side Bowling Club. And then I moved over to, well, I won my first bowling competition from Greeter Side in 1961. That was the national championship. And I've won 7, well, runner-up or won, which meant you went to the championships 7 times. So I have a pretty good record. There's lots of the bowlers would like 1. So yeah, I was very fortunate, I suppose, with good friends and mates. And Myris Davidson was he's still alive, Myris. He was one of our joiners. He was my number 1, and Mark Stanley was my number 2, and Harold Robinson, Chig as he was familiarly known as, was number 3, and I was the skip. Yes, I enjoyed 50 odd years. I've been president of all the clubs umpteen times, and I've been president of the county in 1978.
Did you travel very far?
Travelled all over. Yes, I travelled all over this country, and I travelled to South Africa with the English Bowling Association, and I travelled to Australia, Perth, with the Metropolitan Police, would you believe? Because our son is a bowler, Ian, and they were sorting this trip out. £1,000 for 3 weeks, bed and breakfast, was too good a thing to miss, and I got the opportunity. We went at the last minute because they were full up, and Ian rang us and said, would you come? You've only got 2 weeks to make up your mind. So we said then we'll go. So we went to Australia, and we enjoyed that. Melis went with us on all these occasions. It was very good. I've had some good fun in bowling.
Didn't you tell us that your mother had a shop?
Yes. Over there in bottom of Manor Park, when they built those 3 houses, the corner one was left, the front was left because the planning, they could allow it for it to be a shop. My parents took it over when they were built. That was about 1935, I think. Cut bacon confectioners. And they got a good name for potato pies. This is coming from Berethit and all about with the cows, you could have potato pies. But the secret of it was that they were beautiful pies, but she always had a big pan of gravy. And you brought a little jug, you get gravy, hot gravy. That was the great enticement for them. I was a potato pie. I met a man on the street just recently, about pie food. He said, I could just eat one of your mother's dirty pies. I says, do you know how long it is since you had one? He said, no. Well, I said, the shop closed at Christmas 1941. He said, I can still taste it.
They must have been jolly good.
Aye, we used to go down Albion Men's Club, you know the Albion, up what was the Albion? Used to have Saturday night dances there. Lady Rochdale and Mrs. Dr. Bernard, they were in charge, I think. And sixpenny hop. And I used to go down there with the big basket with the arm over, 2 dozen or more hot potato pies in that hand, and a big can of gravy in this. I used to go up the stairs and turn left into the dance hall. And as soon as I went into that door, and the band was over there, as soon as I went that door, the band just down tools and ran for the supper room. In case they didn't get them. That was Albion men.
And what about the cycling club you belonged to?
Oh, I belong to several cycling clubs. A couple in Keswick, West Cumberland Cycling Club, I belonged to that lot, and the Penrith Club.
And how far did you go?
Well, we should go to Penrith and there because we should do time trialling early Sunday morning, very early before any traffic, 10, 25, 50 miles. And Gordon knows about that. But in our head there, on the Sunday we should do about 100 miles. Keswick, Cockermouth, Egremont, down to Millennium, over the moors to Broadnell Furnace, the Coniston, Ambleside and back home. I reckon it's 100 miles. He said when he left Keswick in the morning, church bells were ringing. No, sorry. When he went through Cockermouth, church bells were ringing. When he got back into Keswick at night, church bells were ringing. Funny how it worked out.